Hey, what is up, guys? BJ Dell back with a brand new weekly art challenge review video. This week's word was seahorse, so let's jump into the video and see what you guys made. Alright guys, so let's jump into this weekly review video, the weekly art challenge. Like I said before, we have so many great submissions. I'm not going to be able to post every single one in these videos. Like I said too, I'm not going to post the best. I'm not going to post the ones that I think need the most work. I'm just going to post the ones that stuff stands out that I can use as a good learning tool for everybody that's watching. So that being said, let's get into this week's submissions. The first one is from Grant. The reason I love Grant's is because the character design behind it. A lot of the seahorses in this week's, and a lot of seahorses you'll see just in general on merchandise or online, kind of have the same look to them. Either they're, super cute or super pretty or majestic. And Grant took that and said, nope, not with this. I'm going to make a fat, chunky, chubby seahorse. And just adding to it, the caption up here, the little word bubble, wait up, guys. This, you can just see him struggling to keep up with the rest of the pack just because he's so chubby. And I think Grant did a great job. The shadows and everything those are all done really well. He's got nice highlights to everything, and not really going to talk too much about, the lines or anything else. I like the overall concept and character design of this. That's something I always look for in my own designs, is to, really make something that stands out and kind of separates mine from everything else that's already out there. So good job, Grant. Next one up is Ashley's, and Ashley did this horn seahorse. It's got the horn here, which is really well done. It reminds me of, I think it was called the Snorkels. It was kind of like the underwater Smurfs back in the 80s. Kind of gives me that vibe to it. The bubbles coming out of the trumpet horn here are just amazing, super well done, that they're popping out of there. And the cute little tuxedo is fantastic as well. Shadowing and highlights are really good around here. I've got the heavier shadow back here since the fin behind is the furthest away from the light source, so that's really good. The one thing I did notice is, one thing I might recommend doing is, you've got we'll draw the basic lines of how everything is. So here's the shape of the head as it comes down and around, and then the body kind of curves here. I think where this kind of looks a little bit off is where the lapels are and the shirt that comes down, because if you keep going with kind of the angles of the seahorse's body, it wraps around here. So to kind of keep with that same perspective, I would probably move the bow tie over just a little bit, have this side of it a little bit larger just for perspective, and then have the shirt coming down like this with the lapel hanging off here, and then once again the lapel being bigger on this side just for perspective, and then having the buttons down the center. I think that's where, looking at it, it looks a little off, and I was able to pinpoint, I think that's the main draw to it of where it kind of falls off, is just having that kind of too far over. Plus you've got these nice curves of the body. I'd like to see more of the curves, that the lapel here is going to have, and it's going to follow that same shape, just moved over that way. But overall, absolute fantastic design. I love it so much. It's super cute. So good job, Ashley. Next up, we've got Reuben, and Reuben also took the character design a little bit further and said, okay, instead of going the underwater seahorse, I'm going to do the outer space seahorse. And I think this is a super cute design. One thing that really stood out about this one when I looked at it, of course, you've got the background here. Reuben posted the time lapse for this in the Keep Creating group on Facebook. And this is not clip art behind here that he just threw on and then, put the seahorse in front. He actually went through and made this entire space scene behind here. And I was really impressed with that. The whole nebula look to it, and the fading and all that, the stars, 100% done by hand. And I was super impressed with that. I think that if you take the seahorse out, could stand as a design by itself. So I was super impressed by that. And then I like the attention to detail here with the backpack and the little antenna that stuck out there. The only thing that's kind of jarring, I guess, is the horn coming out here, the center. I believe since we've got the highlights or the glare there, that this is going to be glass, so it just kind of pops out of here. I would have probably gone ahead, and this isn't going to look the greatest, but I would have probably made like a little, I don't know even what you would call it, like a attachment little nozzle thing here that pops out, so it didn't look like it was coming just directly out of the glass without any holes or anything like that on there. And then, you know, kind of do some layers here, some lines to where it kind of builds it up. So, you know, it's almost like a piece that's attached to that glass. That's not the best look, but you kind of get the point since I'm working on one flat layer here. That's the only thing there I would have done to break that up just a little bit, and I think it would add a little bit more to the design. But I absolutely love it. Like I said, super impressed with the background and that you went with the outer space design versus the underwater seahorse. So great job, Reuben. Next up is Amy. And this design is absolutely fantastic. I love it. The first thing that really pops with this is the colors. And this is kind of one of those things that can make or break a design. And I think this one really pushes it over the edge with the colors. Everything just flows in together really well. They're really good contrasting colors. And you can see the pink here is pretty close to the purple, but she used these green areas to kind of break that up. And that is just super smart. Everything pops really well. And then she also went and did a different color for the outline. She didn't use a straight black. And with the pastel colors, that's a really wise choice. Let's go ahead and just throw in just a black for the lines. If I can get on the right layer here, and you'll see. There we go. So not as good as what it was with that dark outline. So that's why it's really important too. Don't be afraid to change the color of your outline based on your design. I like the lighter outline. It just flows in so well with the colors and really complements it. These little spikes here along the edges, this just adds so much texture, and Amy did a great job of shadowing these. So each one is casting a shadow to the little fin or scale or part underneath it. So they have a really good texture to them, and they look absolutely fantastic, super believable. And I think Amy did a fantastic job with this one. I could see this on a number of products, which I'm sure Amy's gonna knock out. So kudos, Amy. The next one is Linda's. Love the elongated snout on this one. It has, like I said, to begin with, like a very majestic quality to it. I really like that. And the other thing I like too is the shimmer along here really stands out, and I think that is done really well. If you get in closer, I'm not sure if that's the scales or what brush was used to do that, but you can see the texture really is nice on there and really lifelike and believable. Almost has like a psychedelic quality to it as well, with the pinks and the greens in here. So fantastic job with the coloring. I think it's really nice. The one thing that I would probably do is, just as an overall design, the seahorse itself almost gets lost in the background because this background color is so close to the main image that I would probably change the background color. To do that, and we'll talk kind of a little bit about color theory here, and that's why I picked this one. Complementary colors are contrasting colors that basically pop the most when they're put next to each other. So that's why the color wheel is set up like it is. If you've used the color wheel before and never actually thought about what it does, you'll see the main complementary or contrasting colors are across from each other. So the main ones are like green and red. Those are complementary colors. You've got blue and you've got orange. You've got yellow and you've got purple. So to set up something like this in your image, if you've already got the main image done, if you just color select, something close to the base of your image, and you'll see we're down here on this blue. And if you just go straight up across here to this yellow, you can just go in and do the background as maybe a yellow color. I know it's not going to be, you know, the perfect sea look that you're maybe going for, and it's going to look a little bit different, but it is going to make the design pop quite a bit more. The other option too, if you go and choose one of the darker colors here, you could also do an orange behind there. And I think you'll see it's going to make that main image really stand out and really pop out from the background. So that's something to kind of look into and think about as far as color theory goes and how the color wheel is set up. That's why, you know, the green is opposite of the red. That's why the yellow is opposite of the purple, the orange is opposite of the blue, so on and so forth. So if you just go directly across that, those are going to give you the best colors to butt up against each other. So Art School 101, how about that? And then finally, we've got Dwayne's here. Dwayne's I absolutely love. He titled it No Lines, and yeah, he knocked it out without using lines. You'll see what I just talked about as far as the complementary colors go. This blue is pretty much directly across from that orange that he used there, which then faded into the yellow, which is next up. The purple's really nice. Of course, he used a blue back here, but he knocked out the outside with that really kind of lighter shade, and it really pops from the background, even though it's still a blue on a blue. That's one way you can get away with, you know, combining two colors on top of each other that are pretty much the same base color if you knock them out that light. And I think that's why this design looks so good. I know a lot of people commented on the colors, and maybe, you know, you don't really understand color theory or why it looks good, but that is why, is because of the way the complementary colors look. And that is just done so fantastic with this. I love just the flow of the colors using this, I think it's a mix between maybe the airbrush and a noise brush. I'm not totally sure, but everything is just done so well. The textures that are built up are just absolutely gorgeous. And the background is done really nice too. I like that, you know, you left parts without the bubbles in it. You didn't go overboard with, you know, bubbles here and there and everywhere. It's done kind of sparingly, and it doesn't really detract from the overall design. I think that one is absolutely amazing. So those are the ones for this week. That is it for today. All right, guys, so that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you can, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Also hit the bell for notifications so you can get alerted when I post new videos. So last week's word was seahorse. This week's word is possum, or opossum, however you want to say it. But possum is this week's word, so let's see what you can do. Make sure you post your designs and keep creating the Learn, Draw, Share Art community on Facebook. The link is in the description below. As for me, I can be found online, bjdell.com, and on Instagram and Twitter at bjdell. So until next time, keep creating.